Okay, so welcome back. This is the third of three small videos looking at the Vallejo shifter collection, and I'm looking at this through the application of an airbrush as opposed to the previous three videos where I applied the paint using a paintbrush off a palette and it didn't work at all. So I'm following the recommended instructions by the manufacturer, and I'm applying these through the airbrush. As I've mentioned, it's a Badger airbrush that I'm going to be using with the use of a compressor. Admittedly quite an old compressor, had its day to be honest. It needs a little bit of tender care, but it's working. We're going to run that at 15 to 20 psi. The recommendation on the packaging I believe is 15 to 17, so we're kind of working within that category. In the instructions, it's recommending that it's for use on a black ground. So I've just got these kicking around the house. We've been in lockdown, which are just little sample paint pots that we had. And I've applied a surface primer with the airbrush also to create that matte black finish. In the instructions, it said that perhaps the gloss finish would be a more suitable base. So we have found some gloss for the airbrush, and we've done a gloss varnish onto the second canister. So I'm going to run all 6 paints across these two, hoping that it's going to give a better finish than the airbrush. So what I've already been doing, if you've seen the other videos, is I've tested the other 2 pots, the other 2 sets, Space Dust and Magic Dust, and that's really worked well. So we're going to see how it works with this set. I'm really excited to see this because there was a really nice green colour that I really was quite excited about. So let's see what we're going to get. I'm going to just take my colours out. So this is Vallejo paint set. We're going to put a link below. These are from Home Firth Gaming Centre. Okay, so I'm going to just take a second to set the compressor up, set the airbrush. So I'm just going to take a minute there to do that and set the compressor to the right PSI. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so we're set up with the compressor now. I've got my airbrush. I'm going to give these a nice good shake just to mix the pigments up, especially if they've been stood a little while. We're going to start off with the first colour, which is the green, dark green tin, which I'm really quite excited about seeing. Just testing that initially onto the paper just to make sure the airflow is working. And we'll go with the matte ground as I did previously as the starting point. I'm just going to take this really steady, applying thin coats just to build that up. And I'm going to just lip it over because I just want to see that play of colour across a curved surface. That's going on really, really lovely. I'm seeing this beautiful evergreen shade. Now it's saying tin. I imagine tin being like a bit of a silvery colour. So as we've seen in the other videos, letting it dry, you'll be able to see the colour a lot better, but I think that's picking up quite nicely on the front. So we're going to move on to the next shade. I just need to hop, skip and jump and get myself some water because I've forgotten to set myself up with that, so I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so while I'm just quickly doing this, I just want to say thank you for watching, and it'd be really lovely if you could all like and subscribe the video. What I'd really be interested in as well is, what do you think of these paints? Are you excited as I am about these? I'm wanting to carry these forward into a project, as I've mentioned before, a study of beetles and insects. If you think that's a good idea for the application of these paints, I'd really like to hear what you think below. If you've got any other ideas, that'd be great. Let me know, because I might explore that as well. Okay, so the second colour that we're looking at is the green gold cold blue. Now on the page that looked quite translucent. It had a shimmer of green, a pretty shimmer, but not quite as impacting as what I was hoping to see. So this is what we had previously. I think you can see it slightly shimmering. Just run that through, make sure it's clean. Okay, we're rotating the cylinder. So Vallejo say that these pigments are made up of small prisms, and it's these prisms that are reflecting the light, this chameleon effect, where they just sort of transform between different colours. It's really quite magical. I am so pleased with the effects that I've been seeing over the last videos, the last three, compared to the bookwork. So this one is looking greeny and blue. It says a cold blue. I'm not so sure it's looking cold. I would say it's looking a little bit more of a violet blue. These can be built up in layers. I don't want to build it too far at the moment with it being wet on wet, because what I've seen in some of the other videos where I got a little bit excited because of the effects, it started to don't know if we can see that, maybe on that camera, started to run because I got a bit too giddy, a little bit too excited, and it started splodging all down. So I don't want to do too much too soon. So it's gentle layers building up. I'm going to leave it there just so I don't get too giddy like I have done in the past. So I'm going to clean that brush through again. So with me just going back to what I'm anticipating I'm going to do next with my study of the insects. Since I've learned that these paints are better through the application of the airbrush, I'm wanting to use the airbrush probably for my project, but also learning that they work better on this curved surface. I'm wanting to perhaps build a form that's a little bit more three-dimensional, this curved concave shape for the wings of the beetles. If you've got any ideas how I could do that, I'm thinking maybe using some handmade paper and moulding that over a form whilst damp. If you've got any other more creative ideas, let me know, because I'm going to explore and experiment. What I'm really doing is just playing while we're all in shutdown. I just want to get back some creativity and a little bit of me time. Okay, just run that very quickly through the airbrush. That's looking like it's working nicely. So the next colour we're looking at is another one of the translucent ones, and it's turquoise violet. So this, ooh, gorgeous already. That's beautiful. I'm thinking unicorn. I'm thinking my daughter would just adore this. It's really vivid flashes of violet. I'm seeing that turquoise, which is a joy. That's yummy. Don't know if you can see that. I'm thinking maybe more from the side that way. Wow, look at that. Oh, it really echoes that turquoise behind me. See the canvases behind? That's another experimentation. If you're interested in those, we can do a video on that. That was me playing with large scale canvases, looking at different techniques to produce like sea-like scapes. Oh, that's just so glorious. Wow, unicorn in a pot. Beautiful. Just going to run that a little bit over the top, just so we can see. So I'm going to let that cool off and dry. Right, that's beautiful. So that's for the first three. I'm going to now apply the latter part of the pack, the last three, over a curved surface again, but the glossed version. I haven't seen, if I'm really honest, with the last two sets that I've done over the gloss, that there's a big advantage of using that gloss surface. But you let me know. I'm sure there's loads of experts out there that paint with an airbrush and do a lot more model painting than myself. So if you know why it should be better, please let me know, because I am interested. Right then, next one on the hit list is Emerald Green Mauve. Now this was really interesting on the page, because with it having like a coppery base in the bottle, it came across as very coppery on the page when there's no reference to a copper. It's emerald green and mauve, which was really quite puzzling. So it's going to be fascinating to see the difference on the concave surface, the tub, as opposed to the page, which did come across as being very coppery, just with this beautiful overall fine shimmer pearlescence of like a silver. So I'm on the gloss, see if it makes a difference. Oops, a bit heavy fisted there. Right, I'm seeing mauve. That initial mauve is shining through. I got to run it onto my page first, so it has come through a bit watery initially, so I had a splurge. Don't know if that's coming through on the camera. You can see it there, like a splurge, because I didn't run it through first. I'm seeing that emerald as well. I think this could be a new favourite. That's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So beautiful it's edible. I'm a bit giddy when it comes to colours. Colours are really what do it for me. Oh, look at that. On camera, I'm actually observing that they're looking very aqua all the time, and I don't think the camera is really picking up the subtle differences. I'm going to let it dry off a little further. Hopefully then you can appreciate the glorious technicolor, this magical changing that's appearing. They're called the shifters as a range. I think chameleon would be a really good reference to them. They're like little creatures, little animals changing colour. Okay, just quickly flushing this airbrush. I just want to keep it really fair in that you're seeing the colours as they're meant to be. Trying not to be too sloppy. Okay, so the next one, we have just done the emerald and the mauve, and it's coming through totally mauve, totally emerald, and you're not seeing a glimpse of that copper which we're seeing on the page here. So that's the copper that I was seeing previously, and we're not seeing that on the tub. So we're going to do the next coppery one. Give that a good shake. This one is the light violet and green. So as I mentioned in the video when I applied it with the brush, it was kind of puzzling really, because the emerald green and the green is much of a muchness, and then we've got mauve as opposed to light violet. So it's going to be interesting to me, maybe to you, whether or not there's much of a difference side by side on the tub, because the name suggests that there's not a lot of difference. Just spraying it onto the page there I can see a difference. So that's this one here. Can't point with my hand. This one here is the one I've just done, which is a lot darker than this one, but the name is suggesting very little difference to me because it's violet as opposed to mauve and light green as opposed to dark green. So that's the one we've just done here. I'm now going to rotate the can and apply it gently here to the side. Okay, so it's coming across lighter, I would say. I'm not getting that intensity, that sort of slash of violet. That's not coming through. I am seeing the green. It's so more, it's subtle. I'd say that this is more subtle. So there is a difference. So that's good. Oopsie daisy, a bit heavy there. Just going to take it across the top a little bit so we can see the play of light. Okay, so it's just softer. So that's the one we've just applied. I don't think it's working on the main can, but I think the one in front of me, you're seeing it better. And the one we've done previously is a lot more fiery. But again, we'll let that just dry off a little bit, because I have found with the other two kits that I've done is that they do dry and become a little bit more intense. So we are on the last of the 6. I'm going to start that one next. Quick flush. Just a little bit more there. So if you do have an airbrush, you know that this is important. If you don't, this is important just to keep the needle clean. You don't want any blockages, because that's going to interfere with your flow of paint. You're going to have a lot of spluttering and kickback. So it is important just to, whoopsie daisy, take care of that needle and clean as you go. Okay, so last colour is another base, which is coppery. Just going to bring my pad back into view on the overview cam. This one is green with a silver blue. So let's have a look at that. Quick shake. Bop, 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 bop. Don't need a lot in my little reservoir, just a few drops. Just gonna make sure my needle's running clean with that water that was in there. Okay. Okay, so back with the gloss, and I'm going to rotate on from where I was last working, and there's a space in between where I started. Okay, so I'm seeing green. Not so much the blue yet. Maybe a very subtle blue. Just build that up a little bit more. Gently does it. Okay, just gonna, oh yeah, that's nice. I'm seeing perhaps more of a silver haze than a blue. Just gonna give that the opportunity of drying off a little second, and then we'll have a quick review. What I thought might be quite fun as well is just to bring back in the other tubs that I've done over the previous 2 videos to show you the space dust and the magic dust over the canisters. I'd just like to maybe look at them all together as a whole collection and maybe pick out the ones that I think are my favourites. And, you know, feel free if you want to let me know your favourites. I would love to know. So I'm just going to turn the compressor off, which will give us a little less noise. So just excuse me 1 second. Back. Okay, so I just want to say how fantastic I actually think these paints were. I must be absolutely honest. When I initially reviewed these paints via a palette and a brush, yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. There was some that, yeah, were lovely. I really liked this dark green tin one from the Galaxy collection. I liked the Buttercup one from the Magic Dust collection, that one there. I really liked that one. And from the first collection, I don't know. I suppose I like the pearlescent ones there, those sort of 3 there. I didn't like the pink one at all. It was meant to be red gold. I didn't like that one. So as regards to the sketchbook, I didn't feel like they were working too well. On the tubs, I think they looked great. So I'm going to just bring back in Space Dust. Space Dust, my favourite is this one here. Wow, you see that shimmering, really intense, almost regal purple, and then there's an electric blue that shoots into it from a certain light. That one is the electric blue intense violet one here from the Space Dust collection. That one's my favourite. I do quite like this one as well, which I think was the... Let me work it out. Which was the old gold grey violet. But that one's my absolute favourite from this collection, the electric blue intense violet. So that was this collection. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one there. From the Magic Dust, my favourite, again, I think I must have a thing for greens. I quite liked this one and the Buttercup. Now, I didn't feel like the Buttercup shone through the same as on the paper. I did like it on the paper as well, but I did like that. So that's the old yellow burnt orange, which is coming through really nice. I think you can kind of see that orange to gold there. I'm just going to rotate through the pot so you can appreciate those colours. Okay, so on the one I've just done, the Galaxy, let's have a quick look at these now they've had the opportunity of drying. So this was the one with the gloss finish. I really don't see the difference. So please feel free to comment if you know why a gloss maybe it just improves the prism effect and that reflective value of the pigments to be able to do the magic with that colour shifting chameleon effect that the paints have. But otherwise, I'm not seeing it just for the sake of looking at it. I'm really loving the first one I did, which is the light violet green. I'm loving that one on this colour range. I think that's my favourite. So I've picked my favourites from all 3 collections. Now this is available, I believe, as a whole collection, but I don't know if I'd do that. I don't know. Anyway, I like them. I'm really looking forward to taking this now into a work of art. I'm wanting to work with these, as I've said, in some studies with insect forms. Let me know if you think my ideas are valid, good. I'm going to explore them. If you've got any ideas, please add them in comments below. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and I look forward to hearing from you and hopefully catching up with some of you later. Okay, thank you.